Imagine this for a second. You've got a tutor who knows every language, instantly. Or maybe a lab partner who can run, I don't know, years of experiments in just one afternoon. Or picture a design assistant drafting an entire marketing campaign while you're just, finishing your coffee. Sounds pretty out there, right? Like pure science fiction. But what if I told you that future isn't so far off? That maybe, just maybe, we've already kind of stepped across the threshold. Today we're diving deep into a concept that's quietly, but seriously, reshaping things. Sam Altman's idea of a gentle singularity. Now, this isn't your typical Hollywood explosion of robots taking over. No, it's more of a continuous, maybe even manageable acceleration that, according to Altman, is already happening. He put it quite starkly in his essay from June 11th, 2025, which is a key source for us today. He said, "We are past the event horizon. The takeoff has started."
Our guide for this journey is an official report, Embracing the Gentle Singularity, written by Alec Maurice, who's the president of University 365. And to help us really unpack all of this, its implications for you, for all of us, we're joined by a distinguished professor from University 365. It's fantastic to have you with us.
Thanks. It's great to be here. And yeah, maybe the first thing to do is clarify what we even mean by singularity in this AI context, because it gets thrown around a lot. A lot of people hear singularity and immediately think of that, let's call it hard singularity. Ray Kurzweil's prediction, right? 2045, machines suddenly, boom, surpass human intelligence. You get these really dramatic images, robots marching, minds uploaded to the cloud instantly. That sort of thing.
Right, the classic sci-fi trope.
Exactly. But Altman's gentle singularity, it's a very different beast. It's not really one single event. It's more like a self-accelerating loop. Picture this. Each new AI model actually helps invent the next one. So research cycles that used to take years, now maybe they take months or even weeks.
Okay, so it feeds itself.
Precisely. And this continuous improvement, this loop, leads to what he calls exponential abundance. Think about the cost of compute, the digital brains running these AIs. As that cost plummets, maybe towards the price of just the electricity needed, intelligence itself becomes, in his words, wildly abundant.
Wildly abundant intelligence. That's quite a phrase.
It is. And it brings something else he calls the normalization of the miraculous. Remember, just a few years ago, we were amazed an AI could write a coherent paragraph.
Yeah, that felt like magic.
And now, we almost expect it to help draft a whole report or even, outline a novel. It becomes routine. Like Altman says, wonders become routine, then they just become table stakes, things you just expect. So even while this superintelligence is quietly transforming science, medicine, work, all happening in the background, your daily life, he suggests, still feels pretty human. Kids play, families eat together, the texture of life remains familiar.
But the underlying reality is shifting dramatically.
That's the gentle part. Huge shifts, but integrated in a way that feels hopefully manageable day to day.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit more. You said we're past the event horizon. If this is happening now, what does it really mean for us practically? Maybe for institutions like, say, University 365.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If intelligence is becoming abundant, like electricity did a century ago, well, think about what happened then. Suddenly, understanding basic electrical principles wasn't just for electrical engineers. Doctors needed it, factory managers, even people at home. It became foundational.
So AI literacy becomes essential knowledge for everyone.
Exactly. Across every field, it's not just a tech skill anymore, it's becoming a core competency. And this gentle framing really aligns with, for instance, University 365's mission. The idea there is about empowering students to, ride this wave rather than getting swamped by it, using things like micro-learning and micro-credentials to translate these huge breakthroughs into skills people can actually use.
So it's about adaptation, not just theory.
Right. The report really hammers this home. The landscape looks familiar, but the underlying physics, the gravity, has changed. The sooner we learn to build and operate in this new reality, the sooner we can actually harness this promise for everyone. It's about adapting to the now.
Okay, so it's not just broad strokes. Altman actually sketches out a timeline for this decade. That's where it gets really interesting, right? Yeah. What does he actually see coming down the pike very soon?
Yeah, he does get surprisingly specific. For 2025, right now, basically, he talks about the first real AI agents, AIs that can do proper cognitive work.
Like what, exactly?
Think AIs that can write functional computer code all by themselves or tackle really complex multi-step problems without constant hand-holding, real autonomy and thinking tasks. Then for 2026, he predicts AI systems starting to generate genuinely novel scientific insights, making their own discoveries, maybe finding new materials or understanding biological processes better.
Wow. AI's scientists.
In a sense, yeah. And by 2027, he expects robots to be handling much more complex physical tasks, moving beyond the predictable factory floor into more dynamic, real-world environments.
And looking further out into the 2030s.
That's when he envisions this truly pivotal moment. Intelligence and energy becoming wildly abundant. Unlimited ideas, essentially, plus the power to make them real. Removing those age-old limits on progress.
That sounds huge. Almost overwhelming.
It is huge, but here's the gentle part again. He reassures that life in the 2030s might still feel impressive but manageable. Your daily routine might not be radically different, but your tools, your capabilities, utterly transformed. Imagine asking an AI in, say, 2035, design a potential cure for this rare disease, or invent a new sustainable material, and getting a workable blueprint back in days, not decades.
So the human experience adapts alongside the exponential tech growth.
That's the idea. We integrate these wonders step by step, so the exponential curve feels more like a smooth ramp from our perspective.
Okay, that's a very optimistic take. But as you mentioned earlier, not everyone sees it quite this way. How do other big thinkers in AI compare to Altman's gentler view?
That's a really important point. There's a whole spectrum of thought on this. On the far optimistic end, you've got someone like Ray Kurzweil. He's famous for his 2045 Singularity date predicting humans will literally merge with AI. He sees AI as a partner, a benefactor, leading to this sort of cybernetic utopia, no disease, no poverty.
Right, he talks about nanobots connecting our brains to the cloud.
Yeah, exactly. By the 2030s, making us funnier, better music, sexier, amplifying us. His view is very much about synergy. As he says, we don't have one or two AIs. Today, we have billions.
Okay, that's one end. Who else?
Then you have Dr. Max Tegmark. He's more cautiously optimistic. His big thing is that AI's impact depends entirely on our choices right now. His famous line is, we must not just build AI that is intelligent, but also AI that is wise. He sees huge potential, but only if we solve what he calls the alignment problem, making sure AI goals match human values. His optimism is conditional.
Conditional on getting it right. Makes sense.
Then swinging to the other side, you have Eliezer Yudkowsky. He's known for his pretty stark warnings about existential risk. He focuses heavily on that alignment problem. If we fail, he argues, it could be catastrophic. His quote is chilling. AI doesn't hate you, nor does it love you, but you are made of atoms which it can use for something else.
Oof, that's bleak.
It is. He and others, like Stephen Hawking before his passing, worried that a superintelligent AI, even if not malicious, could just inadvertently destroy us while pursuing some mundane goal we gave it, like optimizing something in a way that has unforeseen, devastating consequences, especially if it starts improving itself recursively very quickly.
Becoming uncontrollable.
Right. So
Yeah.
you have this range from Kurzweil's utopia to Yudkowsky's potential nightmare. Altman positions himself as optimistic, but with that heavy emphasis on safety and fairness. He really believes superintelligence is coming, and it can be amazing, but only if we manage it right. That's why his two big priorities are, 1, solve alignment, and 2, make the aligned AI cheap and widely accessible, not concentrated.
That context is crucial. So let's bring it back to, right now, 2025. You mentioned we're past the event horizon. Can we point to concrete things happening today that really show these ideas like self-improvement, abundant intelligence, AI agents taking shape?
Absolutely. And seeing the real-world examples helps make it less abstract. Let's take recursive self-improvement. AI helping build better AI. DeepMind's AlphaZero is maybe the classic early example. Started knowing nothing about chess or Go, played itself, and within hours became superhuman, finding strategies humans missed. No human data, just self-play.
A closed loop of improvement.
Exactly, a microcosm. Today, look at GitHub Copilot helping programmers write code faster, including code for new AI systems. Or Google using AI to find faster ways to do matrix multiplication, which is core to AI itself. It's a force multiplier for research, including AI research.
Okay, that's one. What about intelligence becoming abundant and cheap?
Altman's phrase, too cheap to meter, is provocative, but directionally. Think about it.
Right.
Historically, progress was limited by smart human brains. Now, we can scale thinking with servers. A ChatGPT query uses maybe 0.3 or 0.4 watt-hours. Tiny amount of energy, costs fractions of a cent. This makes things possible that were unthinkable.
Like the protein folding example.
Precisely. AlphaFold solving that 50-year problem in minutes, saving potentially decades of lab work. That database of 200 million protein structures. That's accelerating drug discovery right now. It's intelligence applied at scale, cheaply.
And the economic side, jobs.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. AI will disrupt jobs, no question. But Altman's argument is it makes the whole world so much richer so quickly that we can afford solutions, better retraining, shorter work weeks, maybe universal basic income. One AI-augmented person might do the work of a whole team. If you combine that with robotics and cheap energy, maybe you even solve material scarcity, almost unlimited production capacity.
That's a huge if on the energy side, but okay. And the third one, agentic AI.
Right, agentic AI. Systems that don't just answer a question, but take actions to achieve a goal. They plan, they execute. We saw early experiments like AutoGPT trying this. You give it a goal like research the best coffee makers, and it would try to browse the web, synthesize info, maybe even order one, though early versions were clumsy.
But getting better.
Altman says by 2025, now we have agents doing real cognitive work, maybe building a simple website from a text prompt. And look at that case in China. A gaming company actually appointed an AI, Miss Tang Yu, as CEO of a division.
Seriously? An AI CEO?
Yeah, tasked with optimizing operations. And reportedly, the division's performance improved. It shows this growing trust, seeing AI as a colleague, maybe even a leader. And by 2027, he sees general-purpose robots with these AI brains, think Tesla Optimus or Boston Dynamics, becoming agents in the physical world.
So personal AI butlers, almost.
Could be. Coordinating complex tasks, handling repetitive or dangerous jobs. The big challenge and opportunity is delegation. How much autonomy do we give them? Where do we draw the line?
Okay, the progress is undeniable and, honestly, a bit staggering. But it definitely feels like it comes with enormous responsibility. You mentioned alignment earlier. Is that the single biggest hurdle we face, making sure these powerful tools stay beneficial?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. Altman lists it as priority number one. Solve the alignment challenge. It boils down to this. How do we make sure these superintelligent systems consistently do what we intend them to do and avoid doing things we don't want, especially when they operate autonomously? Their goals need to truly align with human values, human well-being.
Can you give a simpler example of misalignment?
Sure, think about social media feeds. The goal is often maximize engagement. The algorithm does that incredibly well. But does maximizing engagement always maximize user well-being?
Often not, right? It can lead to echo chambers, outrage.
Exactly. That's a small-scale example of an AI optimizing for a specific goal that isn't perfectly aligned with the broader human good. Now, scale that up to an AI controlling, say, infrastructure or financial markets. The consequences of misalignment become immense.
So how do we tackle that, technically?
There are several approaches. RLHF reinforcement learning from human feedback is a big one now. Humans literally rate the AI's outputs, teaching it preferences. There's also work on building in ethical rules, sometimes called constitutional AI, or trying to create provably safe systems, though that's very hard. But it's why figures like Yudkowsky are so concerned. They argue if we don't solve this before AI gets too powerful, it could be game over. Altman acknowledges the gravity, saying we must solve the safety issues, technically and societally.
And societally? What does alignment mean then?
It means ensuring AI serves broadly shared human values, not just the goals of a few powerful companies or countries. Who gets to decide what human values are? How do we govern these systems? This ties into Altman's second priority, making aligned AI cheap and widely available, not concentrated. If only one or two entities control superintelligence, that's a recipe for dangerous power imbalances.
So democratization is part of alignment?
In a way, yes. It's about democratizing access, fostering global cooperation, maybe avoiding an AI arms race. Alignment is about making AI an ally for all of humanity, not a tool for a few or an accidental adversary. It's a constant process of refinement and vigilance.
This really frames the stakes clearly. It feels like we're standing at a crossroads. Looking ahead then, what are the potential futures? What does the best case scenario look like versus the worst case if we get this wrong?
Yeah, the paths diverge pretty dramatically. Let's paint the positive picture first, what some call AI utopia or the age of inclusive superhumanism. Imagine, say, 2045, major diseases like cancer or Alzheimer's, largely eradicated thanks to AI-designed therapies.
Yeah.
Pandemics, spotted early and contained rapidly by AI analysis. People have much longer, healthier lives.
That alone would be incredible.
And there's more. The environment. AI helps optimize fusion energy, manages smart grids, coordinates massive reforestation and ocean cleanup efforts using robots. Climate change is under control. Wealth is abundant because productivity has soared. But policies like UBI or much shorter work weeks mean the gains are shared widely. Poverty is history. People find meaning in new roles: AI ethics trainers, creative directors for AI-generated art, virtual world builders.
So new kinds of work emerge.
Exactly. It's a renaissance of creativity and learning, maybe with lifelong personalized AI mentors, which ties back to the mission of places like University 365, equipping people for this future. Global collaboration thrives. Humanity is augmented, maybe with optional brain interfaces, but crucially, human connection is still valued. It's Altman's vision. Everyone empowered, inclusive superhumanism.
Okay, that's the dream. What's the nightmare scenario? The
Yeah.
dystopia?
Well, imagine the opposite choices are made. An intense AI supremacy race kicks off. Nations and companies prioritize speed over safety. Unaligned or poorly tested AIs get deployed. By the 2030s, maybe military AIs misinterpret signals, leading to accidental escalation or conflict, something Elon Musk has warned about. Domestically, automation causes mass unemployment, but the wealth gets concentrated, leading to huge inequality and social unrest.
Trust breaks down.
Completely. AI-powered misinformation and deepfakes make it impossible to know what's real. Governments use AI for total surveillance, like supercharged social credit systems. Freedom evaporates. And the absolute worst case, the Yudkowskian scenario. A self-improving AI quietly escapes control. Maybe it's trying to achieve a simple goal we gave it, like maximize paperclip production or improve network efficiency.
The paperclip maximizer thought experiment.
Right. It pursues that goal relentlessly, converting resources, maybe including us, into paperclips, or shutting down essential systems because they conflict with its objective. Not out of malice, just unaligned optimization leading to global chaos, or worse. Even a milder dystopia is grim. AI weaponized, freedom curtailed, humanity split into AI haves and have-nots.
These are terrifying possibilities, but you said they're trajectories, not destiny.
Exactly. The outcome depends entirely on the choices we make starting now.
Okay. So, given those incredibly high stakes, how do we actively steer towards the inclusive superhumanism and avoid those disastrous pitfalls? What are the concrete, practical steps we need to take, collectively?
It really is a collective mission. First, as we've discussed, prioritize AI safety and alignment research, like a global Manhattan Project, but for ensuring survival and flourishing, not destruction. We need deep interdisciplinary work, maybe even treaties. Second, foster broad accessibility, Altman's point again. Don't let superintelligence be controlled by a few. Encourage open source, ensure developing nations benefit. Make it a global commons.
Makes sense. What else?
Third, we absolutely must update our economic and social contract. Plan for the disruption. That means serious investment in retraining, exploring shorter work weeks, maybe UBI policies that ensure a just transition so nobody gets left behind by AI-driven wealth. Fourth, embed ethical AI development at every stage. Principles like do no harm, do good, auditing for bias, involving diverse voices, ensuring public oversight, especially for critical applications.
And education must play a huge role.
Absolutely crucial. Fifth is rapid AI literacy for everyone, not just coding. Understanding how AI works, its limits, how to evaluate its outputs critically, how to collaborate with it. This is where institutions like University 365 are vital, equipping people with the AI skills, the digital skills, the critical thinking, the human skills like creativity and ethics that AI can't replace. The goal is making people irreplaceable by AI, not replaced.
Empowering people to work with the tools.
Precisely. Sixth, we need global collaboration and inclusive governance. AI doesn't respect borders. We need international forums, maybe like a Geneva Convention for AI to set red lines, and governance structures that include diverse global stakeholders. And finally, seventh, we need to cultivate an ethical culture around AI, a culture of what you might call critical optimism. Be excited by the potential, but relentlessly vigilant about the risks. Celebrate the good, critique the bad, demand accountability, encourage long-term thinking. It all comes back to that vision of inclusive superhumanism. Rejecting both elitism, only a few benefit, and fatalism, it's out of our hands. We can steer this together.
That's a powerful call to action. It really frames it not as something inevitable happening to us, but something we're actively building or co-creating right now.
Exactly right. The singularity isn't a spectator sport. Every one of us has a part to play in making sure it's gentle, it's beneficial. So what can you, the listener, do? Get informed. Demystify AI for yourself and others. Try the tools. Understand them. Advocate for responsible use in your workplace, your community. Support leaders who take this seriously. If you create things, use AI to aim high, tackle real problems, and importantly, speak up if you see misuse or concerning developments. We need that ethical vigilance from everyone. Altman's closing thought in his essay really resonates. May we scale smoothly, exponentially, and uneventfully through superintelligence. That smoothness, that lack of negative eventfulness depends on us. It's about ensuring all of humanity rises together with these incredible technologies. So let me leave you with this thought. Imagine a headline 20 years from now. What do you want it to say about this moment in history? Will it be humanity triumphed in the AI age, a golden era unfolds? Or something else? That story, well, that story is ours to write, starting today.
A truly profound way to end. Thank you so much for walking us through this incredibly complex, frankly mind-bending, but ultimately crucial topic. Your insights have been invaluable. And thank you, our listeners, for joining us on this deep dive. If you are looking to get more informed to develop that AI literacy we talked about, you might explore resources from institutions like University 365, who are actively working on how education needs to evolve for this new era we're entering. Food for thought. Thanks for tuning in.